Welcome to the Gamers Inn. Come on, come on in, pull up a chair next to the fire. Looks like you've had a long journey. I'm your host, Jocelyn. Clearly, it's been a few weeks since I've actually had to do the intro. I accidentally, clicked close on my media player just because reasons. I guess I'd had enough of the theme song, and I was thinking, oh, wow, that was abrupt, right in the middle of another sentence. So, yeah, that was just, oh, man, apparently I'm having a night. Ryan, how are you?
I'm good. I'm back.
I know. I'm excited. Talking to myself last week was not nearly as easy as Scott Johnson makes it look.
Well, you just gotta pretend like you're crazy, and then it just comes
You would
right
think
out.
that would be really, really easy for me, but yeah, not so much.
Not that I'm suggesting that Scott Johnson's crazy. Crazy talented, sure. Crazy, no,
Oh,
not
yeah, you're digging a hole there. Digging a hole.
digging up, just like all those smart people.
Yeah. So, last week was good. We had Josh and Jim on, and we talked a whole lot about the Smite World Championships. That was pretty
Ah,
much the entire episode. Near the end, we were taking some more questions from the chat room, but 99% of the questions that we were getting were about the Smite World Championships. So,
interesting.
Ryan, did you actually get to watch any of it?
No, I have no idea what happened. I was working all weekend, and if I wasn't working all weekend, I was battling hotel internet.
Oh,
So
unfortunate.
did somebody win? Who won?
Somebody
Or no?
won.
Okay.
Cognitive Prime won. And
Is that a transformer? Is that
it sounds like it, right?
Cognitive Prime reporting for duty?
There were two cog teams. There was Prime and Red, so that they had to add something to tell them apart, I guess. But they were fantastic. The Cog Prime versus Cog Red match for the essentially, I guess, North American title was Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, dude. That freaking match was ridiculous. Like, it just, watching them play makes me just go, I don't know what I'm doing.
Ah,
And half the time I was like listening to the commentators and I was just like, I kind of know what they're talking about, but I kind of have no idea what they're talking about. Because it's also Conquest mode, right? Which is like your traditional MOBA mode. And what we
right,
play is always Assault. So you never have to worry about buffs and jungles and all the extra stuff. You just have this like tube that you team fight in.
right. See, yeah, I'm so used to Assault that I'm sure if I were to watch a bunch of Conquest, I'd just be like, I never want to play this game ever again. It's
It
just
was
so
so
complex.
confusing. And I totally thought in Conquest that there was like three lanes and everybody had a lane, but they were like going through and getting buffs and in the jungle.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure that there's one or two people on a team that's like a jungle character.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of expected one or two people to be moving, but it was like the whole team was like constantly on the move. And I was just like, I don't even know what's happening right now.
Maybe that's why Smite is posed to be the best MOBA of 2015 because or going forward because you've got modes in it that appeal to us, the lowly non-esports people, and then you've got the hardcores that like they want to go into the jungle, they want to scream like they're from Guns N' Roses. I don't know. I don't play Conquest. I don't know what they do. What's a ward? I don't know. Josh, what's a ward? But seriously, I really enjoy Smite, and I think the cool thing about watching the SWC is getting to see something that we don't get to see when we're playing that game
But
because we're
with
just
characters and abilities that we know, because it's the same, obviously, same set of gods, same abilities and everything else. So you had that familiarity, or at least I did. So I kind of understood who was who and what their abilities were, and seeing them used in Conquest versus how they're used in Assault was really, really cool. And people that were really, really weak in Assault being super strong in Conquest, I was like, oh man, this is freaking awesome. Because like
interesting.
a lot of the gods like Thor and Apollo, and I guess one of your favorites, Thanatos.
And my toast.
Yes,
And my
Thanatos.
toast.
We'll get to toast a little later.
Yes, we will.
But seeing them be used properly, and really any god that, oh, Athena was another one. Any god that kind of has one of those like big, huge alts that they can go anywhere on the map with.
Right.
You don't really get to see the full potential of those in Assault, so it seems a little bit wasted almost. Like there's no reason to play any of those characters, and then that's where we get, Derpy Thor. But in Conquest, there's so many times where, like, it's really, really possible that one of the enemy gods is like off on their own doing something, and you can just like hop up from, right lane and go all the way to left lane and totally gank somebody. And it's just, it makes so much more sense when you see them in terms of like conquest and how they're supposed to be. So I really, really enjoyed watching it, but it's too bad that you missed it because it was really, 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 really interesting.
Yeah, no, I really dig that. Maybe what's the next one coming up? I guess the next one would be Dota, the next big like invitational thing.
I don't know. I don't watch Dota.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
that's
play,
May.
so I'm not really into League or Dota, so I don't really know what's the next coming up. And obviously we're not going to see another Smite thing for a while. And um,
Well,
the
that's
heroes
good.
we may or may not get at BlizzCon. I don't really know. We might get sort of. Well, I think there was an invitational this year, I think, but I didn't. I didn't watch it because I was too busy watching all the Hearthstone stuff. But we might get a heroes tournament, but again, that won't be until November. So.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's stuff going on in between. So forget what we've been watching. What have we
Yeah.
been playing? Ryan, what have you been doing? I'm super excited for you.
Well, finally, we'll get to talk about more World of Warcraft. I know everybody, you're so excited, but I did hit level 100, and I did
Yay.
finish the. Well, I didn't finish Nagrand. I got the Nagrand cinematic.
Which is
Uh,
the important thing that you have to see and you have to finish in Nagrand. So we are going to go full on World of Warcraft spoiler mode. Finally, if you haven't heard it already, the game has been out for what, 2 months now? So you know what? Suck it up, people. We are going to talk about what happens at the end of World of Warcraft so far in the Warlords of Draenor
World of
expansion.
Warcraft. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so this cinematic happens. You go into, and I did this the first week that the expansion actually came out. So actually, you know what? Maybe you should tell the lead up to it because I'm a little fuzzy on it now.
Well, first of all, I'll say in terms of spoilers, if anyone's tuning out, like, I'll admit, like, it was probably the best, like, World of Warcraft story worth spoiling. Like, it's the best so far on the MMO. But what we're gonna spoil is like the story, but like actually seeing it and experiencing it is a different thing. Even if you knew the ending, like
I
knowing
did
the
not
ending.
know. I did not know what was happening when I watched that. I was like freaking out.
Yeah, like I mean, I guess if you spoiled the end of like who walks away, it's kind of like anticlimactic watching the ending. But anyways, leading up to it, what I loved about the Burning Crusade, that's like
Oh,
10 years ago, almost. No, in Draenor, which actually that's kind of fitting. Back to Outland. In Draenor, I felt like this was the first time that Blizzard actually set a course for you as a player. It wasn't just about leveling; it was about experiencing a story, and they got you out of that zone quickly enough that you experienced all the story. And if you wanted to hang around, maybe you really liked the spires of Iraq. It's not Iraq, is it? Iraq?
uh, I can't
Sounds so
remember
close to
now.
Iraq that
Yeah,
just
I
does
can't
not sound
remember
right.
now.
Anyways, the spires, that that was, if you really enjoyed that place, you could stick around and do some extra stuff. But if not, you could just, they were always pushing you to the next zone, and they were always rewarding you with story, except for the spires, which was like totally a side story. I should have listened to you and
Well,
continued.
Spires wasn't the one that I skipped. Spires
Oh,
was the one that I did. That was all the
oh,
Arakoa story.
yeah. That was the only side story that I felt like everything else was sort of dealing with the Iron Horde, and the Spires was more like a was an after was a
It
it was
was,
all related, but it was like a
yeah,
side thing, like it
it
was
was
a
like
cause and
history.
effect. Yeah,
Yeah, more than
yeah,
anything. And I really liked it because it showed me a race that I didn't know a whole lot about and that was really, really shunned, I guess, for lack of a
yeah,
better term. And you didn't really hear a whole lot of it in Burning Crusade, at least the parts that I played, because I didn't. Um, yeah, I didn't actually play through the entire story of Burning Crusade because by the time I got there, it had been out for 8 years or whatever. So, I just kind of went through as quickly as possible. But yeah, I don't know. I really like that. And the
yeah.
part that I skipped was, I guess, the zone right after Frostfire, the one that Rexar is in.
Oh yeah,
That's the zone that I skipped.
yeah. It all really felt sort of it felt like it was building towards something. Like you were experiencing the story that leads up to the finale that is Draenor, which is your raids that are going to be coming out over the next years. the next year, you're getting introductions to dungeons. Like more than once, I would be doing a quest and you'd be killing this dude. It's like I almost got him, I almost got him, and he's like, haha, I'm getting away, and he uses his grappling hook and he latches onto the helicopter and he swoops out of frame, and it's like Inspector Gadget or something. It was really interesting to see that. It's like, I'll get you. Come to Highmall if you want to finish the fight. And I'm like, oh, well, the queue is like half hour, so maybe this weekend. I don't know. Um, so I thought that was really cool because in past expansions you weren't really seeing an introduction to those dungeons. They were just sort of like buildings in the middle of a zone that you went to get more gear.
Hmm.
At least that's how I felt. But no, Nagrand was really cool. It was all leading up to busting down the doors. I didn't even know Grom, Hellscream or whatever, was just like hanging out in this thing. I just thought it was like a closed off area. I had no idea we were gonna deal with Hellscream like as part of your main content.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
it was
And I
really
think that's probably what was so shocking to me is that first of all, like you get in there and you're like, oh my god, I'm facing off against Garrosh again. Like this is crazy. Didn't we just totally kill him, or not kill him, I guess, but didn't we just take him down at the end of the last expansion? And now, and I did that with, you know, like 25 of my friends or 24 of my friends, sort of thing. And now you want me to take him on like just me? I'm like, this isn't gonna go well.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I think the difference was like in the raids, like of mists, you were more dealing with a threat you wanted to contain rather than extinguish. You know, like Grom Hellscream is maybe this person we can, you know, that can be redeemed.
mhm.
It's sort of like the theme that Blizzard sets up in every single story for World of Warcraft. It's like, this is a really bad dude, but he used to be cool. Maybe we can make him cool again. Nah, he just killed a bunch of people. We should probably kill him. You know?
And I mean, again, like spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. So in the final cinematic, I
Yeah.
was so surprised because you're watching the whole thing. You're like, okay, we're going to deal with Garrosh. This is going to end one way or another. And I know that Warcraft obviously has killed characters before, both loved and hated. Like, you know, it happens. But the fact that it was a confrontation with Thrall, who is normally so like level-headed and like just not necessarily passive, but he definitely brings that voice to the Horde versus a character like Garrosh, who's just like, kill all the things, screw the Alliance, for the Horde. You know, Thrall is
Old
very
school.
diplomatic.
Yeah.
So for it to come down to Thrall versus, or I guess Goel versus Garrosh, and in this big final confrontation, and to have Thrall kill him, like not subdue him again, not,
Yeah.
you know, take him back to do another trial or, you know, whatever. Just the fact that he just full on, flat out went, I am super hardcore, look at me and my lightning bolt powers, and killed him. I was freaking out. Freaking out.
He did a number, and I really love that this is Blizzard getting to tell a full story beginning to end with this character in World of Warcraft, this MMO. Like Hellscream was introduced in Burning Crusade as I think like a captain somewhere in the opening zone of Outland, and now we see him. You know, he's transitioned to War Chief, to raid boss, to, you know, ending cinematic charred statue, and he blames Thrall for everything. Like, and we get that in the cinematic, and it's just so interesting. It's so cool to see. Like, he's blaming Thrall, and I think that's what really pisses Thrall off. It's like, you can't blame me. You made these decisions, and now you have to live with them.
Yeah.
And it's just really neat, and I really dug it, and I hope that Blizzard gets to continue doing stuff like this in World of Warcraft. I don't know where they go from here, because but I mean, this is the first time I've ever been excited to actually be rating, like, and actually to see more content in this
Yeah.
story, because when you finish it actually boots you out to a very Mass Effect esque scenario where you're surrounded by all your companions, the main story guys like Thrall and
True.
Duratan,
I'd forgotten about that.
and you get to talk to them, and you get to, like, you know, mind you have to read all their text, and there isn't like a weird robot hitting on the pilot, but it's interesting and it was really neat. And they're all like, "Yeah, this is the beginning, though, guys. Remember, we've got like a couple 25-mans to schedule next Monday.
Yeah, really.
We gotta do this thing." So, but that ending sort of scenario was just really cool. It was just a proper way to finish that zone. It was just so epic. I've never experienced anything like it in an MMO or World of Warcraft for that matter.
I'm so glad that you finally hit 100 and we can finally talk about it, because I've been like sitting on this and not talking about this for like 2 months now, waiting for you to finally get there. And I'm so glad. Every time I talk about it, or anytime I talk about Warcraft, I'm just trying not to spoil what happened at the end. So
yeah,
I'm really glad that you finally hit 100 and that you're possibly going to be ready to raid with us. So
gotta run some dungeons. I've looked it up. I gotta run a bunch of. There's like 4 dungeons. It'll get me 615 gear. So you're all geared up. I should ask you this. I haven't talked to you about this. You're all geared up?
I am.
Okay, so how did you do that?
PvP.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So Ashran then, eh?
That's how I did it. It was pretty easy because I had the Gladiator Sanctum, so it just keeps spewing gear at me, and it's all 620. So, or it's 620 PvE. It scales up to, I think, 660 in PvP. And plus it spits out honor points. So between going into Ashran and killing people and then, the stuff it was spewing out at me and the currency I was getting from it, it took me a week maybe to gear up to 620.
It's not bad.
And then I have the, I think it's a helm.
Helm?
From the Molten Core from Rag.
Oh.
From the
okay.
yeah.
So like,
from the anniversary thing. So, and I think that's a 640 or 645 or something. I don't know. I'm always in my PvP gear because I'm pretty much exclusively in Ashran. So I don't actually manage another set of gear. Right. And I'm working on my conquest now. So I've got my 2 conquest trinkets. So that I think they're 660 to 640 to start, and they scale up to 690 or something. I can't remember what the conquest exact eye level stats on the conquest gear is, but I almost have enough to buy one. I think I need to buy one more piece of gear, and then I can start saving for my whatchamacallit. Oh, my bow. Oh, I'm so excited.
Your bow. So what is the first thing on the docket for raiding?
Heimal is the first. The first raid.
Is that just a heroic? Is that a raid?
It's a raid.
Okay. That's
we can. I mean, if you want to run heroic dungeons, we can run heroic dungeons.
I don't know.
You have to do proving grounds to run dungeons.
I have to do proving grounds. Okay.
You have to get silver at whatever your role is. So you're warlocking, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're DPS then. So you have to get silver or better in DPS to qualify for heroics. That might just be to queue. I don't know if you go in with a pre-made if you can go in or not when you haven't done proving grounds, but you should do it anyways. It's pretty easy.
I did the bronze. I got that. They give you that quest as soon as you finish. It's like, hey, I'm going to send you the proving grounds. Then there's like a panda talking to me. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, because proving grounds is what they put in back in Pandaria. So, and I don't know what it is. It might be because I changed my spec. I got rid of my pet. And so I'm doing the whole lone wolf thing, and I'm doing marksman, which I was beastmaster for like ever. And I feel like my DPS has just gone through the roof. So it was super, super easy to do. I almost got gold. I got to the last set of trials, I guess, in gold. And then I failed. And I was like, okay, I'm not going all the way through that all over again. Screw that. So
right. No, that's... Yeah. F that noise.
Exactly.
Well, I'm looking forward to... I think what I'm going to try to do is try to do a couple of dungeons just to see the content, like more story.
Yeah, there's a lot a lot of dungeons I haven't done. Like I said, I've just been strictly doing PvP. So I've done a lot of battlegrounds, a lot of arenas, and a lot of Ashran, but I haven't done dungeons. So I need to get groups together and start doing that. But so other than Warcraft, what have you been up to? Anything else or just Warcrafting?
Other than Warcraft, I had a bit of time. This week, Nintendo made a bunch of announcements. Some were Majora's Mask related. Others were, which we can get into that, but like... I
think we should get into that because I'm so freaking pissed off about that. So
I was pissed off about that, like, back in time. Like, I am in the same scenario as you, except I was informed of it 2 weeks ago when they announced it. It literally, like, we're talking about the the Majora's Mask 3DS. This is before the new 3DS was even released, but the Majora's Mask statue Skull
Yes.
Kid edition was like $10 for a really cool little statue of Skull Kid, and they're all sold out evidently everywhere. You can't find
Everywhere.
them.
Ah, I'm so angry. It's going to be the kind of thing that I'm going to have to either go stand in line for, which is fine. And I actually technically have the 13th off. So that's kind of good. I just took a random vacation day because it's, I can't even remember what name
Family
they gave
Day.
the holiday. It's Family Day for you guys, but it's not Family Day for us in Nova Scotia. Anyways,
Fishing Day? I don't know. What do you guys do?
it's like Historical Appreciation Day or something. It changes every year. Anyways.
Walmart will certainly have that for you. Because those no, that's a bad joke.
I'm really, really, really hoping that Walmart has some and that I can line up and that I can get it, and we'll see. But I'm so pissed off about that whole freaking pre-order thing. Like, how could it go so quickly? Like, I hadn't even heard that pre-orders were live, and then you were the one who was like, "Oh, did you actually get one?" I was like, "What do you mean?" No. And I was just like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, I was when they announced it. It was sort of like it was very Nintendo of them. It was like sort of a phantom announcement. Like, here's this thing that we're gonna release, limited quantities. Lol, walk away. And then it's like, oh, that's really cool. I want to get one, but it doesn't look like it's here in Canada. I couldn't find it anywhere. I ignored it, and then like 2 days later, I found it on Amazon. I found it everywhere. It was all sold out. All the pre-orders were gone.
Yeah.
Walmart doesn't take pre-orders, so I've
So cross
definitely
your
gone there.
fingers.
I don't know if I'm gonna rush out and get it. It's super cool, but I don't know if I want to put myself through that. Remember that Mass Effect 3 thing? I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to stress myself out. But it certainly does look really cool.
Yeah.
I want to check it out.
I want it so badly because Majora's Mask is like my favorite Zelda title. I just freaking love that game.
You like Majora's Mask then? You're a big N64 Zelda fan, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really dig Majora's Mask, and it's one of the Zelda games that I've only played once. Surprisingly, like they've all been re-released a lot except for Majora's Mask.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm looking forward to playing it again. It actually looks really solid on the 3DS. There's a lot of confusion though about this new 3DS.
Yeah, okay. So the new 3DS
The new
looks
3DS.
really cool, except I saw a version, and I don't know if it was like a mock-up or, something, but I saw like a purple one, and I was like, oh man, that actually looks really cool. It was the same, like the same design, but purple instead of gold, because I have the gold Link Between Worlds one, and it's like white plastic with gold paint, and so the paint rubs off in places, and we've talked about that before, how like cheap it looks and how disappointed I was. And then I looked at this Majora's Mask one, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be gold paint again, so I'm not really so stoked to buy it. And then so the system doesn't come with a freaking adapter or the fucking game.
I can get behind the game argument. The adapter
No,
argument.
you can't make a Majora's Mask or an anything
Oh, yeah.
special edition and not give people the game. It doesn't
No,
make
I
any
agree
sense.
with you. I completely agree with you. And even if they were to like give us a slight discount by including the game, I'd be totally cool with that. But I see that I saw that as soon as I saw it didn't include the game. I was like, oh well, I don't think I need this. Like if it included the game, it would have been extra value, and I would have given me some incentive to pick it up day one. But yeah, it's so weird to have a special, and Nintendo's been doing this a lot. They had a Smash Brothers one come out last year before Smash Brothers actually released. Didn't include the game. There was a Pokemon one that came out. Didn't include the game. Personally, I don't understand it.
It's so stupid.
It's just super weird.
Nintendo is just they keep having chances where they could do something super good and super awesome and have everybody just be like, oh my god, you're the greatest thing ever. And then they do stuff like this, and I don't understand. Like, who's making the decisions over there? They're just idiotic.
It's the little mistakes that add up to really cloud over the wins that they get. Like Nintendo has a lot of wins throughout the year, but they're just so hard to see past the shitstorm that are these little, what appear to be insignificant decisions, but add up. Like, the adapter. No one would like.
So you're telling me if I buy this system,
Yeah.
then I can play it for however long the battery lasts, assuming it comes charged. And then after that, it's just like, oh, nope, it's dead in my hands because there's no way to charge it. Like,
Well,
God.
Nintendo is at least smart enough to include in big, bold red letters on the bottom of the package. This does not include an adapter. Please pick one.
And then
I,
people are going to think, oh, an adapter. Do you mean like something to plug it into my Wii U or something? Or adapt it to my TV somehow? Or, they're going to think that it means like adapter in terms of something they wouldn't normally do. A charger is something that you should just get.
okay, well, let me ask you this. Do you own a 3DS?
Yes, I do.
Do you own, or have you ever owned a DS?
No.
Okay, well, anyways, for every type of DS you've ever owned, you have one of those adapters.
Oh.
You know,
In theory, it's
in
got to be
theory.
somewhere. I honestly don't even know where my 3DS is.
Now I'm not defending Nintendo. I think like they should include an adapter. But what Nintendo is saying is that if we were to include it, we would have to increase the price. I think that makes sense because they are selling these new 3DSs, which have more functionality and more technology in them than the current 3DSs are that are being offered at the same price. So it makes sense that they would have to charge more. So they the charge the same by not including the adapter. I've heard this.
But
point
then
before.
if you're anybody who's never had a 3DS before, or, then what are you supposed to do? Buy it separately and then it's going to cost more anyway. So,
Yeah, exactly, but you're also saving you're saving the people like you and me who have already purchased a DS. I have two of them in the same room, like because they keep coming out with new ones. It's like it's the iPhone problem all over again.
well,
Except
yeah.
they don't cost.
I know they stuck XL on the end of it and put Majora's Mask on it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I need this.
Well, you're getting like that's the other confusing bit is whenever I'm talking about it to people, I'm like, oh yeah, the new 3DS is coming out, and uh, right away people say to me, it's like you already have a 3DS. No, this is the new one. It's like what? Is it a new color? It's got Majora's Mask on it. Who cares? No, it's new. It's got the face tracking 3D and the C stick and the extra processing power. So it's it's just weird. It's like Nintendo is trying to sell all these different types of 3DSs at the same time. They're trying to do what Apple does in releasing a new like speed bump version every year, but they're not discontinuing the old one
Mm-hmm.
by making it kind of like a clear different product. So
Yeah.
I'm not purchasing the new 3DS anytime
I
soon.
am not either.
I'm waiting until there is an exclusive game, not just like, ooh, you can control the camera. That's the exclusive feature for Majora's Mask on the new 3DS.
Yeah.
They touted that on the direct. You can control the camera. It's like, sweet. So Z targeting is not the wave of the future, I guess. It's the camera. So I look forward to play. But what I did play and really enjoyed from the direct that they had, they announced that they were going to be selling Wii games on the eShop. So the Wii U, as we all know,
I didn't
is back.
realize you couldn't already do that.
You can. You had to put your disc in. You had to boot up Wii mode. So you had to like trick.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I remember that you were able to actually play Wii games on a Wii U. So I'm like, I don't understand how this is news. But I see they're downloadable now. I get it.
Yeah, it's a really cool way, especially if we'll look at it from the power gamer stance here. Like people who have owned a Wii, you've got all the classics, but there are some great Wii games that you might have missed out on that you might have rented and don't own that you can't pop into your Wii U and play. Downloading them on the eShop, they're $10 for the first week that they're available. They just launched Super Mario Galaxy 2, and man, that game is phenomenal. Did you played that one, Galaxy 2, right?
I definitely played one. I'm trying to remember if I had two or not.
Yeah.
I think I played one all the way through to the end.
Yep.
I think I bought two and then played it a little bit and then kind of fell off it.
Yeah.
After maybe the second world or second galaxy.
Yeah, I think I did that too. It's funny enough when you download these games, they exist on your Wii U sort of dashboard, so you don't even have to bother booting in. Like what you had to do before was put the disc in, boot into Wii mode, then launch the disc, then play. And if you wanted to get back to the Wii mode, you had to quit all that out and then trick the Wii U back into. It was really confusing, super complex. So now you just for $10 measly, you just have to download the game and then click on it and it boots right up and it's fantastic. And that game is a lot of fun, but it opens a really cool path for Nintendo to be able to release some older Wii games that are impossible to find. One of which that's coming out at the end of the month, which is the Metroid Prime trilogy. Did you ever play any of the Metroid Prime games?
I think so. Way back.
Those games are fantastic. And that trilogy was all 3 games, especially the first 2 remastered in widescreen and with motion controls, which I really did enjoy. I enjoy the Wiimote nunchuck combo for certain games. I know a lot of people, Jocelyn included, aren't big fans of that split approach.
Nope.
I don't know, something about, like, it was weird. You almost had to, like, really enjoy the stance. You had to play like this, like that. It was really weird.
The only time I've ever enjoyed motion control was for the Harry Potter game,
Right.
because it was like a wand, and that made sense to me. But everything else, forget it.
Yeah. Well,
Easter Bunny said it's not fun to play that way. It is not fun to play that way, Ryan.
It isn't.
Give me buttons. I just want to push buttons. Move control sticks. That's it.
For the most part, you're pushing buttons, and I guess a lot of people will say it's not fun to play that way, but I had fun. But the cool thing about it is that the Metroid Prime trilogy is a $100 game that is impossible to find. When it launched, and this is another Nintendoism, let's make this really cool product that everybody will want and only print a limited quantity and then snap the master discs over our knees so we can't print anymore. And that's what they did with the Metroid Prime trilogy. And now they're releasing it at the end of the month for $10. It's really neat. So I'm looking forward to playing a lot more rare Wii games in the future.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's really, really good. I'm still torn on just Wii U's in general and whether I want to or not. It obviously has a corner on the exclusives market, but I don't know. We'll have to see. It's going to be a Zelda purchase, I think. So for me this week, I haven't really played too much outside of WoW. And actually Hearthstone. Man, oh man, I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone. I've had a couple of weekends now where I've been sitting down and watching football, and I've been watching football all day long, and I've just been sitting there with my iPad and just Hearthstone, ladder. So it's becoming I don't think you can call it a new obsession, but it's definitely resurging in my life lately. But what I have been playing in terms of PC stuff, I've got I Am Bread, so I actually, instead of just watching you guys play, I actually bought it, downloaded it, and gave it a shot, and I am so bad at that game.
You're bad at it? What? Well, have you ever been bred before?
Well, no, that's true. I definitely have zero experience being bred. But it's that whole mount your friends thing, where you have you ever played Mount Your Friends? Okay, it's a video game, I promise.
No, I know what you're talking about.
It's the exact same concept where you have like 4 control points, and then you just have to kind of like flip and swing yourself up. And then as far as you get, then you kind of stick there, and then the next person goes, and then they try to get further than you, and you just build this big tower, and it's all your friends. So anyways, it's the same sort of thing where you have 4 points that you grab on and you swing yourself, and you try to go from your loaf, which is at one point in the room, to somehow you're supposed to make yourself into toast.
Yeah.
It took me a really, really, really long time to get through the kitchen, and then I got into the living room, and oh man, I was not toast. I was not toast.
So how did you try to toast your... See, this is the issue James and I had with this game is the kitchen's easy. Because you're toasting in the toaster. It's a clear path. Well, it's not clear. There's a lot of things in your way, like a chair and noodles. But
ants.
There's a toaster.
Ants.
And ants, right? They look like noodles. Maybe it's been a while. But the living room does not have a toaster, so you got to get creative. So what did you do to get creative in the living room?
I didn't actually in the living because I didn't get far enough. I was aiming for the radiator thing, but I didn't get far enough. And I used the oven in the kitchen, and I didn't realize you have to try to toast yourself evenly. It wasn't until I was about 50% toasted that I noticed that I was only toasting one little corner of my bread. I was losing deliciousness.
Well,
I'm already covered in ants and eggshells. Like, who's gonna eat this toast anyway?
We gotta burn that off. That's how toast works, right? If I ever drop bread in something, I just throw it in the toaster extra long. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had fun. I played it the same sort of way that you and Iagavos played a few weeks ago, but I played with Josh, and so we basically just started at the same time and raced, and he was toast so much faster than I was toast.
I think Josh he gets in the game and he's like, if you were to see him play, he'd just be, I am bread,
Yeah.
I am bread, I am bread, and then he's just whole wheating it across the room. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But I'm sure, like, I just saw that they were adding a new level. They're going to be adding the garage at some point.
Oh, interesting. I bet there's
So
going to be like gas and oil and stuff that you have to avoid.
you can attach yourself to I believe the English call it a dolly, but I think what is it? The thing, it's like got two wheels.
That's a dolly.
Okay, maybe the English just call it the same thing that we call it.
We speak English too.
Oh, I thought this whole time this was
Not.
like, not speaking English. Cold medicine, everybody.
Yeah.
No, I really dig that game. I think this is probably one of those first games you've played where it's kind of like silliness for the silly factor. Are you enjoying the story? Like
Oh
story
yeah, the fact that
solid.
I'm slowly driving somebody insane because I am bread and I am moving all over and knocking things over, and I think it's really really fun. I like what they've done with it. It's a good like turn your brain off and just not do anything type game. So I had a lot of fun in it. And speaking of toast, I have been not starving, which is good, with other people. So I've been playing Don't Starve Together, and the one thing I find with Don't Starve Together is that when I start a game, I'm always going into other people's servers, and at least so far, it's been people who are starting up a brand new server strictly to like play with me. So they haven't played Don't Starve Together before, or they have a, super advanced one and they don't want me to burn down all their stuff, which is understandable because when I'm the pyro, I kind of like burn down everything. So I can understand people not wanting me in there. Like, I've survived for 50 days because I'm terrible. But as a result, I feel like I'm playing through the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over, and I'm getting really bored because I'm just like, okay, so it's day one again, which means we have to find all the carrots and all the berries and chop down wood and get some flint to make an axe. And, it's just like, I'm just like, okay, yeah, guys, I know everyone loves Don't Starve Together, but I feel like I'm not getting far enough to experience new content, and every single time I start, I'm doing the same stuff, so I'm just kind of like, I think I might be done with Don't Starve Together, but that might just be, it's still in beta, so I'm looking forward to seeing, when it actually comes out, how many people have it, and maybe, getting a set group together to have a world and a server that you actually work on, more sort of like Minecraft, where it's like, you go in and you try to actually get objectives and build things, and as opposed to just like, I'm managing to not starve. Yay.
So what you're talking about is setting up a pre-made Don't Starve group.
Yeah.
Like a raid, if you will.
Pretty much.
Raid night.
Pretty much
geared,
exactly, yeah.
Play Don't Starve.
True. Just grab everybody from raid and be like, no one's geared. Let's go. All right, so I just wanted to remind everybody that Ryan and I really appreciate your continued support of our show, along with the support of our sponsor, Doghouse Systems. You can use the code TheGamersIn to double your RAM whenever you purchase a new gaming rig. So head on over to doghousesystems.com and get your order on. We actually had somebody in the chat room earlier who was asking if we are primarily PC gamers and what we game on, and I personally game on a Doghouse system. I've had mine for 2.5 years now. It is fantastic. I haven't had to upgrade anything. I upgraded my graphics card, but that was because the fan blew and it got all smoky. But then, they upgraded it. No problems, no questions asked, just sent me a new one. So, they're super great customer service, super awesome to deal with. And I love my system. It hasn't slowed down on anything. The only thing that's even remotely made it chug a little bit was, I think it was Shadows of Mordor on Ultra, I think. And it kind of went, I don't know if I like this. But again, it's 2.5 years old, so I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, again, that is doghousesystems.com, and the code is TheGamersIn. So this week, our topic of the week is going to be review scores, because it was really, really interesting that this week Joystiq, actually it was like 2 days ago, decided that they're not going to score reviews anymore, which I've got to say, man, I freaking love. Because honestly, review scores are so dumb. Like,
Yeah.
every score now, it seems to be like 9 something out of 10. So then the actual score isn't even the first number anymore. It's the decimal. And it's just like, okay, so is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 10? Because it's either 9.1, 9.2, 9.3. Like, it's so stupid. Or you have the star system, which is what Joystiq was using. And then, when you translate that over to a number, like a half a star makes a huge difference. So I don't know. Ryan, what do you think? Do you pay attention to review scores? Have you for a while?
It depends on the game. I like for me, there are certain games that I know I'm gonna always want to play, and I'm gonna pre-order them, and they're gonna be preloaded, and before I could even try to get my money back before a review hits, I've already given them the money. It's like I just want to play this game. But I do enjoy reviews to kind of get that. And I know this is going to sound really bad, but that sort of like clarification as to whether the game really is good. So it's nice to actually look at a review, read it, look at the number, look at the point forms, read it through if something isn't quite hitting me. But I don't usually make purchase decisions based on reviews. I'll make like I'm going to check that out decisions based on reviews. I don't know.
Yeah, I make purchase decisions based on pretty much friend recommendations, friends or podcasts, one way or the other. I read reviews and I find them interesting, but I mean, not very, very often. So I don't know. I'm glad that they're doing it. And the one thing that I found, because I went and looked, the Talos Principles, the first one that they did, in their like new review system with the, what is it, like Award of Excellence or something, which basically means they've done something cool, something different. And the only thing I noticed is that there's no link at the top, because basically they've done a summary at the bottom with like, important information you need to know, like price, cool features, all that kind of stuff. Does it have multiplayer? Yes or no? Really, really brief summary, but there's no link at the top. And then because the comments all go underneath that, you can't even like just scroll right down to the end. It's like somewhere in the middle. So that was the only thing that I noticed that I really didn't like. But other than that, I love the new system. It's really, really good. And I hate review scores.
Yeah.
Just,
I think most people that I find, most people I agree with when it comes to covering games, you find certain journalists that you kind of like latch onto, like their opinions match up with yours. Because if you know someone just hates, like, let's pick something I love. Nintendo, for example. They just hate Nintendo games. Smash Brothers is the worst thing they could ever play, and they're reviewing it. Of course they're going to give it a score that you're not going to be happy about, right? But if you go to someone who actually is on par with your opinion and likes the same games you like and says, hey, if you're like me, you're really going to dig Smash Brothers because it's more Smash Brothers. It's like perfect. That's what I'm looking for. I also really like video coverage. I'm not too big on reading like blocks of text. I find that you can,
reading is hard.
Well, it's not just that. It's just it's time consuming. I don't really have time to sit there and read through a whole bunch of text unless it's a game I really care about. Like for example, this Talos Principle. It's something I'm really interested in, and I did read through this review. I think it's a great review, and it certainly like spells it out for you. Like, yeah, you need to buy this game because you're getting something that you're not normally going to get from, the other games that come out. But I also find that reviews can be really helpful when it comes to a game that just quite isn't ready. Like a lot of games that launched in November, those were games worth waiting on a review for.
Well, at the same time too, I mean, often they get reviewed based on, pre-launch. Well, they always get reviewed based on pre-launch. And so like if you're, say, SimCity had fantastic reviews pre-launch because there were no server issues, because there were only like freaking 500 people playing. As soon as you had everyone trying to jump into the server and then no one could play the freaking game, then all of a sudden the reviews are meaningless anyway. So I don't know. I love the move away from scores, and I think that they're going to put a lot more things into perspective, explain things a lot more. And I mean, even then, like a 9.5 from one site may not be the same as a 9.5 from another site, and they even vary between reviewers. Like they're just so subjective, and it's that you're taking something that gives you kind of the illusion of a statistic, but it's coming from a completely subjective place. Like, I mean, we do the same things when on Angry Chicken, when we do reviews of the GVG cards, and we go in and we say, okay, it's an A, B, C, D, or F based on, you know, our what decks we use it in, how good of a card it is overall, you know, all of that kind of cool stuff. But at the same time, like, it's completely subjective. I kind of don't like giving grades to cards. But it's just kind of what is done in card games, so we've adopted it. But I would rather just talk it out and be like, I think this card is good because of this, and I think it's bad because of this. And, you know, you don't necessarily have to rank them in terms of, like, how they rate against other cards. Just, it's good for this stuff, bad for this stuff. This is the kind of deck you should use it in. Pow, done.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of where we're moving towards with reviews. And I really like that, where they're just going to say, like, you know, it has awesome multiplayer. You have these cool stuff. It has 18,000 billion kinds of guns. So, you know, like, if you like all the guns, play this game, you know, or whatever. So I think that I like that style of review more, and we're moving towards that. And I like the idea of this award of excellence to kind of point out things that are doing things differently. I think that this is really, really cool.
It's good of Joystiq to kind of look at something and say, let's try and change something. Let's do something different. There are a lot of sites that put more emphasis on the written word than just like you said, a statistic. And really, the reason they even mention it in their article, they go into pretty in depth about like Metacritic and how it's changed the way these sites score things. And games are just so vastly different from one another, and opinion it puts a heavy weight on whether a game gets an 8 or a 5. Like, look at Destiny. It's just all over the place. Like, it's getting 9s and 10s at highly regarded sites, and it's getting 5s and 4s at highly regarded sites. It's like, it depends on your opinion, right? And I find if anybody has arguments when it comes to reviews, you really just gotta you have to enjoy the person who's actually reviewing it, because if you can't see eye to eye with them, then you're not going to agree with what they write, no matter what there is there. But I just think you got to make a smart, educated decision. And if there's not enough written there, then find some other stuff. But I don't think the review is ever gonna. I know I mentioned I like watching videos and stuff, and I don't like reading, but I don't think the review is gonna go anywhere, because I think you can really explain everything that's great about a game from beginning to end in a short 2-page review, like they've done with the Talus Principle here, as opposed to a video where in 20 minutes you're only going to cover like a small chunk of it, right? Mm-hmm. So, no, I really dig this, and for those people who just like to scroll to the very bottom and kind of get an idea of what
totally me.
I am right there too, and they call you out on it in the why we're changing the review score thing, because everybody does it. Doesn't mean you're not going to read the whole thing. Like, for example, I keep coming back to this Talus Principle thing, but you scroll all the way to the end, you see it's got an excellence award. You've got all your stats. Yes, thank you. And then it actually just gives you a little paragraph of why this game is good. Mm-hmm. And if you're still not convinced, you can read the whole thing and get everything. I think.
Well, for me, I mean, I saw that little paragraph, and then I read the paragraph, and I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. And then so I want to know more about the game. Whereas I would read that little paragraph and I thought, I'm not really that into it. I'm just going to skip the whole review. So I kind of wish that was either at the top or there was just a hyperlink to it or something. But I'm sure they'll figure it out. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of constructive criticism, hopefully constructive criticism. And
it's not much for constructive. I don't know. Like,
you never know.
Reactions,
But yeah, so anyways, I think that pretty much does it for us for tonight, right? We don't have oh my God, dude. We have so much listener feedback. We got a ton of feedback on our Game of the Year episodes. So I want to go through that, but I forgot to put it in here for tonight. So we're going to have to do it next week. But yeah, we got a lot of emails. So thanks everyone for sending in your feedback, because your Game of the Year picks were awesome. So we're going to go through all of those. We're going to answer all those emails. We're running a little bit long tonight, so I'm going to wrap this up. But if you want to show off your TGI pride, you can head on over to slashloot.com. That's SLASH loot.com, and grab yourself a Gamers Inn t-shirt. They have other awesome shirts, including all your favorite podcasts like Azeroth Roundtable, Torrent Think Tank, Zombies Ate My Podcast, and The Angry Chicken. So head on over to slashloot.com to show off your podcast pride. We wanted to thank Rob J., our patron of the week this week. So if you would like to become a patron of the Gamers Inn, normally we record on Friday nights and we do a game night on Thursday that we let our patrons jump into. But this week, due to work and travel restrictions, we had to record a night early. So
Yay.
blame Ryan.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Make it
so
a day early, guys. Come on.
normally our patrons fund our game night, and we thank them for that very, very much. If you would like to donate to the Gamers Inn podcast, you can do that at patreon.com/thegamersin. So that does it for this week. If you'd like to visit us on the web, you can do so at gamersinpodcast.com. You can also find us on A Move TV along with other fabulous shows, including Into the Nexus, Campaign Roundtable, The Angry Chicken, and A Move Radio. You can follow us on Twitter. You can find me, Jocelyn, at GISGamer. Ryan is at R. Murphy. And don't forget to follow the show at The Gamers Inn. The video versions of all our episodes can be found on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Jocelyn Moffat. You can also find us on Facebook and Google+. If you'd like to email the show and let us know what you thought about Nintendo's moves with the whole Majora's Mask thing, or Joystiq removing their review codes, you can do that at info@gamersinpodcast.com. So thanks for staying at the Gamers Inn, and remember, tune in next week. Actually Friday, though, not Thursday.
I'm going to be gone Friday, too.